Hi, welcome to Far From Eden. If you were here for last night's video, I'm sorry and thank you. I was so mad at those women for their total lack of empathy. And I probably should release that whole story on a clip. It's a minuscule example of what men go through every day. That's how they get looked at every day, with that stone cold lack of empathy. Anyway, I don't want to get started with that because, oh boy, I was ready for bear, as they say. Do y'all know that expression? That's so funny. Bear. Sorry. I didn't think I was going to use that expression. But yeah, ready for bear. But not that type of bear. Not the bear that, not choosing the bear over the man. Anyway. Hi. We are going to talk about an issue that I am constantly monitoring. I am monitoring it in real life as much as I can. But you guys know you're not allowed to talk about it. Like, you're especially not allowed to talk about it in England. Good Lord. I mean, I guess I'm not ever using that citizenship again. Wow. So, because if you don't know, they've got this whole campaign to end misogyny by calling it a certain type of attack. You don't want to do that. That's horrible. Like, that's just silencing people. But that's what they do. So, I'm not silenced as of yet, so I will keep speaking. And the issue, one of the issues you're not allowed to talk about is women. You're just not allowed to say anything that might be negative or a criticism, right? That's horrible. They are beyond reproach. We are beyond reproach, but we shouldn't be. No one should be. So we need to, I study them as if it's sort of like they're in their natural habitat. Are they realizing? Are they realizing what's going on? Are they picking up what the men are throwing down? For example, do the single moms realize that men are not choosing them? There was a time when the certain type of dude would just go, sure, I'll take you and your kids on because I'm a good guy. I'm a white knight. I'm better than that last narcissistic abuser, because that's what they call all of them. Weird. They can't all be that, right? They're not. I think someone might be a narcissistic abuser, but it might not be the one that's being accused of it. And so are they realizing that? Are they realizing that the vast majority of men do not care about your career? They do not care about your college degree. That is not a selling point to them. In fact, the divorce rate goes up the more degrees a woman has. That's a fact. And I know that people will be mad at that. Facts are very inconvenient to some people. You know, like people who want to live in delusion, and people who lie, and people who manipulate people. So, are they realizing that? Are they realizing that when you get to a certain age, your egg carton is empty? And I love that phrase. There's a guy on YouTube that uses probably my favorite phrases. And I have a video that I messed one of his favorite phrases up royally. I'm not even going to say what I said, but I used a euphemism that it was bad. It was all throughout the video. It was an MS brain type of day, and it was before a lot of y'all knew that that goes on sometimes, and it's embarrassing. But anyway, this gentleman, I've been watching him for years. Not every single video that he posts, especially not now that I'm making my own content, there's less time, but he's brilliant, and he has done a giant service. I'm grateful to him because he opened my eyes to so much that's going on out there that I am able to now speak about. I did my own research, as they say. Obviously, I'm not the type to just go, oh, the person said it, okay. Obviously I wouldn't be here if that were true. And anyway, he's fantastic. The other thing that I want to say about him real quick, and it's probably going to make people, I don't know, in my head now that there are people that come at me, and it's hard not to hear what they will say before I say it. Say it anyway. I think he's a great example of a good man that has been tossed aside. And there's no reason why a man like him should be without a good wife if he wants one. But any of you who know his past, I'm going to tell you who it is in just a second. So I'm not trying to do this big reveal. I'm not smart enough to do that. But it's Joker from Better Bachelor. I don't know his real name. He's smart. He didn't accidentally say it on 5,000 videos like I did, and everybody knows my name now. First name, but not real. I'm not as astute as he. And anyway, he has fantastic videos. And in my little fantasy, I hate when women do that, when they clap when they're trying to make a point. I want to be able to force women to watch it. So that's just a joke, YouTube. I'm not trying to force anyone to do anything. But that would be great, because you would see he doesn't just go on and say the things. He shows you who they are. And he has done these dating profiles for years. That's what woke me up so much, was the dating profiles. It's like, oh. Then do you know what I did after that? This was years ago. This was like 2019, something like that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to set up an account with, I'm not going to put it on there, but you just can set up an account, but not like be viewable. So then you can search on some of these apps. I'm not going to tell you which app I use, but it's used a lot, especially back in my day. So I went on there and I made this account as a guy. And just so that I could search for the woman I wanted, right? But I wasn't searching for a woman that any dude want. I was searching for, different age groups and stuff. I wanted to look at age groups like, what are the 40-year-olds doing? 35 to 40. Anyway, I did all that. And it was way before I even knew how to share anything on, on YouTube. Like, that's only been recently that I knew how to share a screen and use StreamYard. It was just my phone propped up. So there was no high-tech stuff going on where I could hide the profile. He's so good at it. So anyway, I went, it was my own research to look this stuff up and go, okay, let me find the profiles like his. Let me find the profiles that start off saying, my kids are my world. My kids come first. You must accept my kids. And then a laundry list of requirements. And it's like, I think for a minute, there were guys in droves, like I said earlier, that were like, oh, she just needs a good man, and that's who I am. I have a theory that those men were raised by single moms. So they're like, they are, what is the word? Sort of trained to try to please this difficult person. And you never can. But that gets ingrained in you. And then you go forth into your adult life. And anybody who's had Psychology 101 knows that when you have issues in your childhood, as an adult, you instinctually try to fix them. So you might seek out the same problem, the same type of relationship you had that you could never make work, even as a child, and then you go towards it as an adult. And then that's why they ended up like, I can save you. I'm the good guy. I'll be like the dad I never had, but they don't know why they didn't really have that dad, right? They only know what their mom told them. Ouch, sorry. Hair's getting pulled on the pillow behind me. Okay. Yeah. So they just, it's like it's ingrained in them, this need to rescue their mom. But, and I may have given you guys a little bit of food for thought. Please let me know in the comments if you see this in yourself. This is just a side note. But I do want to know that because it's something that is cooking in my brain, and I like to sort of shoot it out there, you guys, because you're the ones who can tell me. I am not going to sit here like all the other women and tell you what you think, what you should think, and all the rest of it. There's a lot of that going on. And if you saw it the other way around with actual men telling women that it is not a thing, women try to make it a thing, feminists try to make it a thing, and it's not a thing. So anyway, back to Joker. He's fantastic. And I've said to guys that I've known, like, I hate that he's single if he doesn't want to be. Like, that's a great example. There's nothing wrong with him. I think he's mentioned that he's a little short. Who cares? I'm sorry, I just scared my dog. And when I do that, I am reminded to ask you, please like the video, share it with people who need to see it. And trust me, they need to see this one. They need to see it. All right. Share it with your guy friends who need to be red pilled. Share it with your guy friend who's like, I'm about to propose. Share it with your guy friend who's on the dating apps and doesn't know, like, share it. And more importantly, if you've got a woman that you think might be open to something, share it with them. If you've got older daughters, like, share it, because we need to wake people up. And some people are right there on the edge. It's hard to know, but it is like the Matrix. Some people can never be woken up. I don't know what the exact phrase is from the movie, but some people just can't. And that's true. So part of it for us is knowing when to go in with a little truth, because you don't want to have an adverse reaction that lands on yourself in real life. We don't want that to happen. But if you've got someone you love that needs a little push in the right direction, this may be the video they need. Like I said, I was pointed in the direction of Better Bachelor. And I was still at that point where I was resistant, right? I was a bit resistant to the manosphere. Still at that point, I was still like, maybe they're just super angry and I still thought that. And I still wasn't fully on board with MGTOW yet. But I am now. So I got there. I get it. There are things that tempered me and made me a total weirdo. And if you're new here, I talk about it a lot in older videos, just kind of peruse, like the first video and the second video is kind of about the beginning of the journey. Man, I was a baby back then with my knowledge of the truth. So we're going to watch a video that Better Bachelor released pretty recently because I watched almost all of it and I just kept thinking, because I'm very careful, especially now. You guys have told me we want to see more videos of what you have to say and without a reaction. And I hear you. I hear every critique you guys send me and I take it seriously. This is your channel. This channel is not for me. The primary reason for this channel is for you. It always has been, it always will be. That's why I accept no sponsorships, because I asked you guys and y'all said no. Was it a majority that said no? No, but it doesn't matter because maybe we're a republic and we're not a democracy. Because enough of you said no that I was like, it's not the right move. Because you would never know who I'm beholden to. I'm beholden to you, not to YouTube, not to anybody else. So know that. And so a few of you, it just a little said, hey, less reaction videos. And that's another reason why I made sure to include a lot of extra content in my last video. It's too bad that YouTube, demonetized it. And when they do that, I know they're shadow banning it because they don't want it shown. And I don't know why. They don't tell you, but you just go, what did I say too much? Who knows? Probably talked about voting too much. It was maybe too political. So I'm going to make a separate video for that later, and it'll be an experiment. But anyways, you guys, I just love this video from Better Bachelor, and I think that it has the capability of helping women understand, but also if it's not just that, to help them understand. I want to respond to, and this is what the other reason why we're not just showing, I say we because I think of you guys. I'm not just showing the TikToks and the videos that are similar to what he shows in this, because the point that I want to make is that Better Bachelor is key for waking women up, but also when he watches these videos, he speculates on maybe this is what the woman is thinking, and maybe this is what the woman is thinking. And he's very good. He's not bad at translating woman speak. He's really not. But I found some things that I think as a woman, I can add to it to provide a little bit more understanding. And I hope that's the case. If it's not, I know I'll be told by somebody. And I don't care if it's a feminist who says it, because they'll just call me a pick-me. There won't be an argument. But I think that there's something that can be added to some of these comments that he makes about what these 4s are thinking when they're going after these 10s and more. So let's get into it and let's see what's all here. Good.
Women Or even women are admitting women are nuts. Even women are, and this has been going on for a while, but I'm
Awesome.
seeing this more and more often where, believe it or not, red pill content is being shared by women. They don't know it's from us, the misogynists, the incels, the losers, the weirdos. That's what they call us, of course. They don't know that they're sharing our information because that would drive them crazy and they would.
It reminds me of people. It again, it's politics. It's all politics at the end of the day. Um, it, and I don't mean voting in the left and right. I just mean the way people interact with each other. Anyway, it's like they're getting woken up by seeing the other side. Kind of like when you go through 2020 and you go, oh, I don't think the world is what I think it is. And that's all, I'll leave it at that. But a lot of people woke up after that because they saw an extreme and it was so in their face. They went to the right. And it doesn't mean that they necessarily are a certain candidate person, but a lot of people went to a certain candidate. But people went, that's the left, and they went to the right. So it's like a lot of people are going, oh, evil is so real. It's really a force. God must also be. So extremism in one way wakes people up to another. And I think a lot of these women have seen the extreme. I hear of women who say, start dating a man who has a nightmare for an ex, and they see it and they see the worst of women and it wakes them up. And I've said this in other videos where I think that the women are waking themselves up by seeing each other. So the worst of us is actually seeing that is pushing women to be better. So anyway, I just want to say that real fast, but I have said that in other videos and this would back it up.
Would be very upset realizing once again, we've been right for years and now they're parroting our information. First, I'll share this. This is, again, men learn the game and women fail to learn it. This is a video of two influencers, probably only fools content creators, because that's what most of them are, or they're Instagrammers or TikTokers trying to get attention.
Also, I want to add, what's the phrase? Tell me your OnlyFools account is not paying without telling me your OnlyFools account isn't paying, because you wouldn't be out on the street doing this if you were making good money with your other endeavors. I think it's a sign that they're becoming more desperate, because I don't have any idea if this is true, but I have a feeling that more men are disgusted by OF because they know what those girls are about. Now, there's going to be guys that watch it no matter what, and I understand that. However, there's going to be guys that are like, I am not paying this person. I'm not sending money to this degenerate stuff. There are more men now that say that than there were 5 years ago, in my opinion. You guys tell me if I'm wrong on that. So I wanted to add that to what he's saying. Look at those guys' face. Look at their face. It's like they are like, she's got cooties. I mean, they're like, ugh, you guys know, and they're Gen Z. These are young dudes. This shows the polarity of Gen Z, I think, because it's just, you guys will see as this video continues, It's like she has the cooties. And honestly, yesterday, I don't go out a lot. Go out. I mean, I was outside my house going to PT and getting gas. That's it. And I was, let's just say, anytime that a guy had to pass me, like just walking on the sidewalk or whatever, it was this same thing. And I'm not only fan, you know what I mean? But it was definitely like there was a danger. And it's not because of my cane. It's not that. I can see a difference in just the way men interact with me. And I understand Better Bachelor can't say this. Joker can't say this because he's not a woman. But I want to add to what he's saying that you don't have to be dressed like OF for guys to give you one of those. Like, it was definitely, and I think, oh my God, I just thought of something. I think sometimes when girls think that guys are checking them out, now I think they're actually going, ugh, you know, like danger. I can see how some chicks would misinterpret that because they want to complain about, oh my God, they're just looking at me. Oh, you know, like, no, they're avoiding you. And if you're videotaping them, they're wondering why you're videotaping them. So I know I've talked a lot, but there's a lot in this video.
And social media validation. Look how everybody is starting to respond to these women. Look at how everybody is responding to these women.
Me and my friend Ruby out of 10.
No, I'm not interested.
Ask you a question.
No, thank you. Okay. Oh, actually, no.
No, okay.
I'm so late for work, guys.
Hiya, excuse me. What would you rate? No.
That's fine.
Hiya, excuse me.
I'm trying really, but
I'm sorry. Did anyone catch that beautiful Tudor building in the background? And to have a garden utensil standing in front of that beautiful building. And I realized, oh, we're in England for this video. Well, I get it. I get why the men are acting like you have cooties. Because their government wants to imprison them for saying anything negative. You think they're going to walk up to you and say, actually, I think you're a 3. No, or a 4 or a 6 or anything other than a 10 would be misogynistic, which is wild to think of. I will use that word instead of the word that, you know, YouTube doesn't like very much. Stupid. Oh,
Sorry,
my
thanks,
God.
sorry, Tuesday.
Excuse me. Would you rather? Oh, no, okay. Hiya. Okay. Hiya, excuse me.
I'm busy, sorry.
That's awesome.
How do you think she feels after going home after that day?
Bad.
How do you think she feels? This, her name's Britt Welshie, 46. How do you think she feels after this?
Wait a minute. She's 46? Is that what I did not catch that. I watched this at like 6 o'clock this morning, so I probably missed some things. What? Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you how she feels. She feels like she's doubting everything about her existence because she has put all of her value. She has put all of her value on the aesthetic. It's not the men who have done that. They've not objectified her. She has said, no, this is the part of me that's valuable and I'm going to sell it. Clear. That's what she's doing right here. I don't know what she does in her private life. You know, don't just go by what I say. I'm not a doctor. To me, that's funny. I'm sorry. She 46 and she's out there like that. Go home and, you know, wait for your grandbabies. She probably doesn't have any babies in the first place. She is going to question all her life decisions. She is going to think she's ugly. She is going to think she looks old. She is going to feel unwanted. It hurts so much for a woman when they feel unwanted. I don't know if I've ever actually said that to you guys. Sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, this might be different for guys. I think that you guys want to be wanted too, but I think it's different. You need to be needed. You know, women aren't needed except to have children. Honestly, I didn't make it. I didn't make the rule. I didn't define nature. I am not the creator. So, but they do. They want to
I
be
bet you
wanted.
went. I bet you she went home and cried, or went home and slept with some rando dude to feel better about herself, or went and posted a picture of her starfish or her
Right.
breasticles online to get some validations from some simps and some boring losers, and to try to recover from this. This is what men are now doing because they're learning. And I don't want to beat a dead horse to death, but this is what I'm talking about when I say that men's content has gone everywhere now. Every one of these guys is like, no. None of them are fooled into believing they have a chance with these women. None of them are fooled into thinking they're attractive. They know this is social media clout chasing, and they're going to get clowned on, or they're going to be embarrassed, or they're going to be called a simp or whatever. Men have learned and women haven't.
Well, they're in England and they're going to be called all those things, and they're going to be called a misogynist and possibly jailed. So they are, if they haven't, look, it used to take family court for men to realize that women have the power of the state, but thank you, England. You've actually woken a lot of people up with your intentions.
Well, here's women realizing that they're insufferable. I'll just let them say it for themselves.
I hate to say this, but I think that women have to lower their standards. Before you go crazy on me, just hear me out. The amount of chronically single girlfriends that I know, either approaching their 30s or already in their 30s, that are like wanting to settle down and have a family, but can't, is an epidemic at this point. And we're talking about women that are financially stable, have educations, are beautiful, have their fathers in their lives, like come from nice families.
Okay. Those women I wanted to add something. She is so right on so much of this, but they have education, She means that to go to career type value. And usually that education is just used to argue and pump their ego up. That's how it comes to fruition. And that's one reason I believe with more degrees, there are more divorces. You look up the women who have PhDs and the amount of it's a higher chance that they'll divorce. And some people say, oh, well, that's because they have the capability to be financially independent. That is baloney, because to use one of Joker's phrases, no, because they were saying that when women were getting cash and prizes, they were getting rewarded to leave. So that's not the case. That's an old lie of, well, they didn't have a way to really make it for themselves. Like, stop with it. So it's actually, I believe, because their egos are too big and their masculinity is too high. Because when you've gone through all of college, and who knows what they did when they were in college for that long. College is it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. I feel like if we have if I ever do merch, I'm going to do University of, Sodom and Gomorrah, because that's what it is, Anyway, so that's not a selling point for the women she's talking about. And they have their dads in their life. It's good to have your dad in your life, but that doesn't mean you have a father. Was he the leader of the house? Did the mother respect him? Did she defer to him? Or was he the guy who just took the kids places and was, there to fix every issue and help her avoid accountability? Because those women are nightmares. So I feel like this is the time to say, I think there are two types of women you see in the church, in the modern Christian church, which I am not a supporter of. I'm a giant supporter of Jesus, but not of the churches that claim that they're teaching him. Because if they were, women wouldn't be pastors, for example. We'll just leave it at that. There's so much more they would say. They would hold true to Proverbs 31 instead of, well, they can have that as a career. No, it isn't. So there are two types of women in the church. And one is they have those type of dads. They just fix everything and solve everything and just do stuff for them and give them stuff. And tell them, oh, I hope you find a man that deserves you, etc., etc. And then there are the other ones that are the gardening utensils in hiding because they're looking to be reformed or they're born again or what have you. And that's just a cover for, hey, don't think about all the stuff I did in the past. Look, Jesus will wipe you clean, but that doesn't mean that a man has to marry you or be in a relationship with you, because it's going to leave some scars if you've got high numbers. So that is what she's not saying. So I needed to add that.
We're not talking about a bum bitch. We're talking about a very decent young lady. So I'll have conversations with my friends and they'll say things like, oh, I want him to make at least $200,000 a year, at minimum. He has to be in shape. I really like a guy with a six pack. I love a guy who's 6'2". I need a guy with a full head of hair. I can't do bald guys. Every single time you throw a new specification into what you desire, the only person that fits within the parameters of what you are looking for exists in your dreams. No, I've had girlfriends tell me oh my God, no, he's great, this and that, but I can't do a short king. So you're telling me you found a guy that's not bad looking, has a great job with benefits, financially stable, comes from a great family, and you can't do it because his legs aren't long enough? You bitches are out of your minds.
If I had her for an interview and I said we're gonna interview a female red pill content creator, you'd be like, yep, dude, she agrees with us. She's totally on point.
Not Kevin Samuels, because he would say, not the girl. That's where I learned it, at the University of Kevin Samuels. That's a good shirt. Anyway, I should do that. Anyway, I'll just wear it for myself. I learned from Kevin Samuels, there I see red flags, but only because I learned from him. And so that's why these chicks are single also, because the men are awake to these red flags that she thinks are selling points. And I don't know why Joker didn't point that out about, some, college degrees. She's got a masculine edge to her, this one too. Have you noticed? A little bit.
Wait. How many men's channels has she probably sat and listened to? Do you think she puts on the headphones and while she's working out listens to Joker? or old videos of Kevin Samuels? Of course not. She's just realized, because she's apparently got two brain cells to rub together. She realizes she's just looking at humanity. She's like, yeah, you guys are crazy. Now I see what all the quote unquote weird guys have been talking about. It's not that we're out of touch with humanity. It's that we don't have the fear to express the truth. Even if we get pushback, even if we get hate for it, we're fine with that. Like, we don't mind talking about that stuff.
That does hold women back. And I didn't realize it until very recently, because I haven't had a lot of girlfriends over the years. I've been pretty isolated over these decades. And in a way, thank God. But I had no idea that that was the case. So I just thought that's interesting to add, that it's yeah. I'll just let him talk.
And we have for years, because we saw it in its infancy and it growing because of men reacting, men chatting in videos like this that say, dude, that happened to me. Yes, same thing happens to me. When you have millions of guys talking like that, you just realize it's not some weird corner of the internet. This is men in general are going through this.
Yeah, it's no longer, they want it to be the manosphere, but it's just the sphere, honestly. They want to make it a fringe thing because then they can be like, ooh, look at these scary boogeymen over here. But that's not the case. This is a true, and it's not an organized movement. It is actually something that's grassroots. They want to astroturf everything nowadays that it comes through the media, and you're like, that's not real. Trying to say everybody's a big giant fan of this candidate over here all of a sudden. Right. Sure, that happens. Approval ratings. Sure. They do that all the time with things. This is not that. This is because of real experiences of men over decades. Generations of men who've gone, wait a second. And it's taken so much pain for them to go through in family court, just in their own lives, being isolated themselves. When I talked about, I've been pretty isolated, and I've been thankfully not exposed to women, I guess is the way to say it, or exposed really to much. Living under a rock is how I often say it. But as far as being isolated, that's what the men have gone through. And humans we are social creatures. We are not designed, we're not created to be alone. So it will cause you to suffer if you are isolated. It will absolutely cause suffering. And the women folk are finally getting there because they've prioritized career. I said this in the comments last night. Because they have prioritized career. Women used to be the facilitators of the social life. And I don't mean going to clubs. I mean family and friends. And so the men could go and work to provide. Whilst at home, they had a woman that was taking care of all of the needs of all of the needs. He's obviously, providing a lot, fulfilling those needs too. Shelter, water, food. Those are kind of important, and those are just like whatever nowadays, totally taken for granted. But anyway, so they provide all that, and the woman provides all the care for the children during the day, the meals, etc., the garden, the chickens, the goats, the homeschooling, all of that. And in that, back before they isolated us all, which you got to go back, I don't know, what, 200 years, something. And the women were, you know, they weren't home alone with all the children. Their mothers were there because their mothers had raised their kids and were helping with grandkids. And there are aunts and there are nieces and nephews, and they are all part of your life at different times. And you're part of theirs when they need something. So you're all doing your things together and cooperating. And so the man would have a social life through the wife. And there were men's spaces. They did, and it wasn't just your football on Sundays where you're staring at a screen, not talking to each other about anything important. Bread and circuses is what I think that's about. And so I think that's what organized sports is all about. Channel the testosterone in one direction, right? And keep the men from talking when they are together. They won't compare notes. Think about it. Men didn't know what was going on with the women until the internet. I mean, they didn't know by and large. And now you actually can, they're talking about it. They weren't talking about it when they got together for football, you know? They used to be able to just get together and talk. It was expected. You remember in the movie Titanic, after dinner, and the menfolk were going to be talking, and it was like, she had an attitude about that. Well, they need to do that. It's good for them. But that's another thing that feminism erased.
And now that women see it in their own friends, you can see this is her left hand. She has a gold ring with a diamond in it. So maybe this is legit. Maybe she's just saying, hey, I found my guy. But the rest of you are crazy. Maybe I'm wrong on this. So maybe I can't say for $1,000 she's doing the same thing. I stand corrected on that because she does look to have a ring and there is a baby bassinet in the back. So maybe she got married and did the right thing. But how many other women point this out and then are living by the same standards? And I got a great example for you. And I know I get hate for this every time I say it. Pearl, over on Pearly Things. Pearl's now, I don't know, 28, 29, 27, 28. She's getting up there. She's not dating anybody. She's done the hookup or short casual dating things with men she knew she wasn't going to marry. And then she keeps talking about, hey, women, once you're in your 30s and once you've doing this, well, Pearl's doing the same thing. Now, maybe that all changes and Pearl finds her forever man and she settles down and it's all for naught, but she's still on that path. She's still on that path, but she still talks the red pill stuff, but she lives her life like the women she's making fun of. She's just younger. Will she wake up in time? This is a 4-year-old video. I did a video on this when Alexander Grace came out with it. So I'm not playing the whole video. I'm just playing a segment of it. Okay. But this is 4 years ago now, 4 years plus. And he had his friend, an 18-year-old, jump on Tinder and try swiping as a man. I've got an update for us. I do have an update for us. So let me play this for a moment, and then we'll check on the update.
Day 5, and at this point, I'm not motivated. I am not happy with the results. On day 3, I got 13 matches. Yesterday, I got 1, and today, I got 1. In the beginning, I had lots of matches, but I wasn't actually being selective. And let's be honest here, I was matching with women that were not that attractive. I was getting like women on mid-30s higher. What amazed me wasn't this decrease of matches, was actually the replying. I mean, how can I get these women to go on a date with me if they don't even reply to me? I was so confused. I mean, if we match, why aren't we talking?
Show the women in your life this. Show them this. Have them try. I mean, I never tried to get matches. I never was on there as a dude like that, but I did go on to see what's out there to like shop for a woman. And I was like, ugh, wow. And it honestly, I did it not that long ago too. Like almost like, let me see if it's any different. And it just evolved. But the women did stop saying my children are my world. Like they didn't say that as much. I couldn't find that as much. And I did a broad search of across the country. Maybe they're still out there, but I didn't find them in the numbers that I found before. So it tells me that the women will do, people will do what they're rewarded for. And those people that do that the most are women. It's YouTube speak. Not newspeak, it's YouTube speak. But it's newspeak.
I matched with so many, and I got no response. I saw a lot of like Instagram stuff, follow me on Instagram, and I didn't thought this would happen. I didn't thought I would match and they wouldn't reply. From what I talked to my friends and maybe myself, that doesn't happen. If I matched, like the man doesn't reply to me, like that doesn't happen. If I compare an experience that a woman has on a dating app and that a man has on a dating app, it's much different. And it's weird that I struggle so much, and that if I change like the picture to a woman, I don't struggle at all. I didn't thought this would be like this, because I find Alex, in terms of looks, good looking and interesting. I put he was a damn psychologist. That's super interesting. I don't know if people get depressed after being on a dating app, but I don't know. I just feel like down at this point. I don't know why I feel down. It's not even me. This is not very healthy, is it? There are maybe some psychological effects from this whole thing. I mean,
Why isn't she dating him? Why isn't she dating him? Is it her brother? Or her cousin? Because why aren't you dating him? You're 18. Like, what's wrong? That's what I want to know.
down now, and it's not even my damn picture and my damn life.
If you guys remember, like this is, let me try to find a picture of Alexander Grace here in the beginning. This is Alexander. I mean, he's not a great looking guy, but he's also not a creepy homeless bum or anything. You'd think he'd at least get, if a woman looks at him and says he's a 6, you think he'd at least get interest from 6. And so, these types of videos went pretty viral 4 years ago. I think mine got several views. His has 2.3 million views. And this is what happens to men on social media. We know this. It's old news. Well, this came out, and this is another woman that tried it. And here we are 4 years later, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed at all.
So one of my guy friends gave me permission to make a Hinge account for him because I was telling him how easy dating is with dating apps. And he was telling me that it's incredibly difficult. And I was like, Pete, you must be doing something wrong. And he gave me permission to create an account for him and just run the account. I've been a virtual boy for 3 days, and I've never felt this bad about myself. I feel like a freaking loser trying to get these girls to like me. And I'm starting to hate women because I'm like, when I say I mean Pete, because that's the account I'm using. Pete's about a 6. But I'm so desperate, I'm liking the 2s and the 3s, and even they won't like me back, Pete, which is a 6. So what level of delusion has entered women's heads? Like, what is going on? It is so difficult dating as a boy. I hate it. I'm on day 3 of being a boy, and I hate women, and I'm more depressed than ever.
I find it interesting that when these women try to sit in a man's shoes, so to speak, on a dating app, within a matter of days, within a matter of days, they're like, I'm sad all the time. I feel rejected. This is awful. I'm unhappy. And then when you go back and look at the video we were talking about with Abba and Preach and the other segment there, with them talking about why men aren't going to these dating, these matchmaking things. When dating becomes painful, when trying to date becomes an experience that makes you feel sad and worthless and deflated and miserable, there's no good out of it for men anymore. There's not that good euphoric feeling of, oh man, I just got, like when I was a young guy, if you're you date people that are kind of close to you. Now, I might look at a woman and think she's beautiful, but some of you guys you might look at her and say, I don't think she's that attractive, and vice versa. Actually, this is a debate we got into a couple of Saturday nights ago because we were watching a movie with what's her name? Emma. Is it Emma Stone? Which one's the redhead that was in the letter A and she was also in a Spider-Man movie, I think. Is that Emma? That's Emma Stone, right?
Uh-huh.
We got into an argument about Emma Stone, and half the guys are like, she's bangable. Others were like, no, I think she's beautiful. She's the girl next door. And then there was a bunch of us that are like, hell no, I wouldn't have anything to do with her. It's the same woman. And it's not like we're, that different a guy. Everybody's got their thing. But some guys say, I think she's beautiful. Some says she's kind of bangable. Some says I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. And men still have this discernment.
I think that's true, but that's also where the ones who are obese will say, oh, but everybody has a different type. No. I mean, there are kinks, but no. What he's talking about is true, is how the men are, because they're reasonable. They're just being reasonable. It's not any kind of big thing. It's literally how you should be in life. These other people that are not men are not being reasonable. That's just more YouTube speak. Trying to trick the robot.
So men don't really have the same type of standards that women do. A man,
because they don't have the level of entitlement that the women do.
Can look at a woman and say, yeah, she's not really my type. I mean, she's okay, but if she's funny and she's outgoing and she's creative and she worships the bloody ground I walk on, I'd probably marry a woman like that. Then there's other guys that marry or want to date beautiful women, and they say, well, she's kind of dumb. She doesn't really make any money, but I make enough for both of us. But she treats me well, and I think she'd be a good mom. She's not perfect. And I like redheads, but she's a brunette, or I like blondes, but she's a red, whatever, right? Or,
There again was she doesn't really make any money, but like as if you guys tell me if I am totally wrong. This is another reason I wanted to cover this video. I thought that I think it's because the idea of a real wife just it doesn't exist. And there's just so much downtime, and you just assume the kids are going off to school. So that's a lot of downtime when you should be homeschooling them. That's your job, homeschool them. But he's acting like not making money is a problem, but it's actually better. The women who I thought that men wanted more of like, well, she worked as a cashier and she was 22, or let's say she's 21 and she works as a cashier and she wants to be a mom more than anything, a wife and mom, and wants to homeschool the kids and have a garden and take care of the house. And you can see that there's evidence of all of that in her past. I thought that's what a man was wanting. But I think it's just men again are trying to be reasonable, maybe, and they're already making that concession about what they want. I don't know. So that's confusing to me. I don't know if that's the case. I trust Joker, so it's not like he knows this topic. So.
Oh, I like big boobs, but she got small boobs. Like, guys will make sacrifices here and there to make it happen. Women don't anymore. Women won't make the sacrifices.
No.
And so now you have women like this one coming out and saying, women are crazy. Like, you're not going to find a guy with everything. And all her friends demand the everythings. You've got this one saying, it's not fun being a guy trying to date. And then, like I mentioned in the other video, you know, you look at this like Amy Horton, and Amy Wharton, as we used to call her, who has 36 pages, or excuse me, 36 pages of 6 articles each. That's at least 180 articles she wrote. And if you read it, you feel like you're.
We covered an Amy Horton article before. I can't remember which video it was, but I remember because one of you said, oh, Better Bachelor covered this. And I felt so validated. Like, oh, cool. I'm on the right track. It was probably one of the most validating comments to ever get. And that he also covered it. It was right around the same time, right when the article was released. I had not seen his video, and I think I might have covered it I don't know. But yeah, she is, ooh, it was bad. It was bad. I ripped it apart. That was fun. That's my favorite pastime. Yeah, ripping those ones apart. But yeah, she's a nightmare, and good to call those ones out. You have to.
These are the ramblings and the musings from somebody that's got like bipolar or different personalities.
Borderline.
Because you'll see some ways, like when it comes to sleeping with somebody, I'm all about quality over quantity. But she's also got an article about ringing in her 40s with a threesome. You know, where it's just like, do not even, where you're like, what are you thinking? You're all over the place. You're scatterbrained. You're like a puppy chasing leaves and toys. So many women are like this. And when it gets to the point now where you have women looking at other women saying, you're crazy. When you have women looking at other women saying, your standards are too high. When you have people like, I don't know, Elon Musk and Matt Walsh, and I'm trying to think of other, and Tucker Carlson, and I'm trying to think of some lefties. I can't think of any lefties off the top of my head. Joe Rogan, you know, he's at least center left or whatever. When they're saying like women are crazy, their standards are crazy.
You will also hear some of this coming out on Tim Pool's show. And he has, as far as I know, the biggest live show on YouTube at that time. So that's not nothing. Hannah Claire on his show has brought up the lack of mothers, the lack of that. And so I'm always so happy when I see something mentioned about that, about the need to homeschool. He's always saying that when it comes up. So that's a big deal. I don't know about Joe Rogan. He's figuring it out. I'm waiting for him to come all the way over, but it's beside the point.
Think about are crazy. The way they vote, they're crazy. What they find important is crazy. And that nobody can match up to that. is there any wonder that things have gone completely nuts? I will throw this in here. I did grab a couple of these, and I was going to do this, but I almost forgot. But here's the dating profile of the day.
Show the women this in your life. If you're like, oh, I can't get them, they have no attention span or whatever. Show them this part. You know, you need to, because his dating profiles, like I said, really help wake me up, because I had no idea. I was living under a rock. I didn't have any of these. I didn't have women friends who were dating. I didn't have women friends in general. And then I was like, oh, you have to have the women in your life see it from the male point of view. That's what waking people up is all about for this. And that's what Cassie J's The Red Pill did for so many people, a lot of men. It was, oh, I see it from another point of view, you know? And that's when they also said, oh, I'm not the only one. But you have to show the women in your life, if you want them to see it, they're not just I wish they would just listen to you, but they're not gonna do that all the way. You have to make them take a walk in a man's shoes. Maybe they will listen to you, because that is when you get down to the bare bones of it. That's what woke me up, was seeing it from a man's point of view that I cared about. So if she cares about you, and then she's heard your point of view, and then you show her, hey, look at this. That's if she's going to come away from the dark side, that's how it's going to happen. But sometimes they have gotten to the point, like the women yesterday, who would not help me at all because the only chair we have is in the back. And there's no empathy. If there's empathy left, you need to sort of trigger it by showing her what it's like to be a man. You have to break her out of herself. And that's the challenge with today, with the women of today.
I don't have the intro music anymore because for some reason that got copyright struck on the damn intro for the dating profiles of the day, but I've got one for us here because it fits in exactly with what we're talking about. Here she is in a tiny bikini because that's a value that she knows men have.
Ew.
Listen to this. She's
You're
37 years
naked.
old.
You're naked.
She's
37.
The egg carton is empty. And now she says, 37 years old, I'm looking for a guy with a provider mindset. No, I'm not joking. I know what relationship style suits me. Which is what? She doesn't say. You should be willing to spend money and take me out. It's a must. I am not a gold digger. I provide for my man, no problems. So you must be willing to spend money on her and take her out, but she's not a gold digger. And we'll break all this down at the end of it. I know how to be an amazing partner, and I want the same. I'm a feminist, but I'm traditionally feminine. Prefer to date men with good paying jobs because I need stability. Also, I'm pretty hot and deserve a good man at this point in my existence. She's an atheist. She's 5'7", and she has kids. Now let's break this down, because a lot of people will read this and they don't get all the nuances. Okay, so first of all, she's looking for a guy with a provider mindset. Why does she put that first? Because she's bangable. She's bangable. She's a guy that guys will swipe left on or swipe right, whatever the direction is for a yes. Guys will swipe right on her. They'll take her out to coffee and dates. If she finds them attractive, she sleeps with them. Maybe they sleep with her once. Maybe they sleep with her for a month or two, but then they bounce. And she's tired of that because she's 37 and she knows she's aging like milk in the sun.
And rather than realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm not having men express interest in relationship, so maybe there's something about me that I need to change. No, I am going to go out there and demand what I think I deserve. That's her reaction. That is so entitled. You can't, I know women have been told through media, through education, and things like that. Oh, you need to claim what's yours, and you need to manifest what's yours, and you need to go out there and demand what you deserve. No, that's not how you get along with people. That's how you act as though you're a narcissist. It's a bit tyrannical of you to go around and just be like, I demand what I demand. That's not how you enter a relationship with someone. She thinks, and she's going to demand all these things, and that's going to blossom into a relationship? Are you insane? This is why I wanted to cover this video. And I know it's going long, but it all needs to be said. And women need to see this. They need to hear what Bachelor is saying, and they need to hear what I'm saying, and they need to see what women are doing.
So now she wants a guy that will stick around and provide for her because her looks are not getting any better, and she's tired of working. She is the strong, independent woman because she's a feminist. So she's a strong, independent woman, but she doesn't want to be a strong, independent woman anymore. She wants a man that's going to take care of her because she's not so strong and independent anymore. She'll keep that mindset. She'll be a bitch still to you if you don't agree with her, but she basically wants you to provide for her. Now she says, willing to spend money and take me out is a must. But she says, I'm not a gold digger. She might not be a gold digger. She might not be. She might not be a gold digger because that means you just want to take advantage of a man for his money.
You would need to define terms. I mean, I think we know enough to say, no, veto, thank you so much, bye-bye. But when a woman says something like, I'm not a gold digger, okay, what do you think a gold digger is? Let's see if it's the same as what I think it is, because it might not be the same thing. They might honestly define it as, well, he provides for me, but I don't demand luxurious things like a Bentley. I only, of course, it needs to be, I don't know, a Mercedes. I don't know anything about cars. Oh, yeah, I have to tell you guys what happened to my car. It's fine. But it's, yeah. She's going to be like, no, my demands are reasonable. Therefore, not a gold digger. You better find out what she means by these things if you're silly enough to go out there and try to date and have a relationship with these people.
She's saying, I don't want to just take advantage of a man for his money. I want a man that's going to spend money and take me out. Why does she say that? Those specific words? Because most of the guys she hooks up with are not dating her. They're not taking her out to dinner. They're not taking her out for drinks. They're not giving her a proper dating style. What she's doing is finding hot guys on Tinder or dating apps or in the public. When she goes out to the bar with her friends, she finds a hot dude He bangs her because she's bangable, and then he leaves. And then she reaches out to him and says, hey, can we hang out this Friday night? And he, because she's bangable, but he doesn't want to be seen in public with her, or maybe he hates her because she's a feminist, he says, nah, I'm not going out tonight. I don't really feel like going out tonight.
It's another thing you need to share with your women friends, the women in your life, is that what's actually going on out there. You need to, they may not be in this world at all. And they're like, what is the problem? Just go out there and marry, la, la, la. You have to show them what they're being presented with. Again, so they can see it from the male point of view. It won't work unless they can see it from, they have to, okay. Basically, you have to make it easy for the woman to personalize it. And we like to personalize everything. Like we're always, this is why you'll try to debate a feminist and she'll bring up like her personal anecdote or personal stories, and somehow that's a legitimate point. You know what I mean? Like, well, I know lots of women who aren't like that. Well, then never mind. Let's rip all these stats up. Hey, why don't you just tell us how, you know what I mean? It's kind of ridiculous. So they will use anecdotes and say, well, that's not what my experience is, therefore it's not true. And that's just so silly to do that. And they don't realize they're doing it, but it's very hyper personalized. And so then say, okay, well, we'll work with it, right? Stop you're trying to wake them up with stats and facts, and good luck. It'll only work with some women. That's not what our brains respond to. That's not how we're wired. That's why you see them faced with all these facts. And it's just like, nope, no, it doesn't have an effect. Because if you want to wake them up, you have to go to the feelings and show them what it's like to be a man and make that the personal experience that they base their views off of. I think that's actually the smartest thing I've said this whole time. That's the key.
But if you want to come over and Netflix and chill, or just come over, we can hang out. And she says, well, he's hot and I like him. So, okay, I'll do that. Then she goes over and sleeps with him. And he's still not spent any money and he hasn't dated her. And she goes home. And this keeps happening until she gets angry. She gets angry because she feels like that she's just being used for sex, which, spoiler alert, she is, because she's a 37-year-old feminist with kids. And so,
how is she not actually just advertising that right now in this profile? Lady, you're advertising that that's what you're for. You don't even realize it because you haven't stopped to think about how to study how men think, what men want. None of that is important to you. You can tell, and I can tell if a woman is faking the femininity and faking, what men want, or if they've actually done the research, they actually know, and it's coming from within. This woman doesn't even have that. She's just putting it out there like, this is what you get. This is what I am. And that's what actually really sad for her, that she thinks that little of herself, honestly, because that's really not the be all end all. And blah words. Women accuse men of being all about that. And I think we've really seen what women do with it. Train.
So she goes from that to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, until the tender age of 37. And she says, I've had enough. I deserve better than this. I must raise my standards because I'm 37 now and I ain't getting any younger and I'm tired of just getting used. Now she says, I know how to be an amazing partner. Press X for doubt. And I want the same. Now she's a feminist, but traditionally feminine. Those two do not exist. It means she knows how to dress feminine. In other words, she likes frilly dresses and she likes playing makeup and putting on makeup. And she likes playing make-believe that she's someone's traditional arm candy. And then you mention the word Trump and she dumps her drink on you and calls you a fascist and then never wants to talk to you again. Because that's how this goes. So yes, she probably smells nice. She knows how to wear dresses and look nice. And that's feminine to her. That's the only meaning of the word.
And she knows how to pretend that this is her voice and this is how I speak all the time. And she can act. Look, they can all act. You know why? That we're made with that. I am convinced we're made with that ability because it is helpful when you are raising children. Because when things are bad and times are, hard or something's whatever, there are times you need to fake it. I've caught myself doing it with Lola. By the way, please like the video. She's asleep. She's asleep on the job over here. But anyway, she knows I'm making a video. There's no need. Yes, I called myself mom because I am that woman who's, has a dog and dying alone. Just kidding. That's a Kevin Samuels reference. Anyway, so I have caught myself when I am upset, but then I speak to Lola and I just am cheerful again. Because when you have a 2-year-old, you have to read stories still. But if you're going through a difficult time, I understand this is make-believe land at this point. This is not what women do these days, but they should. And so if you have children, you should be reading to them every night. And so you need to be able to put on a cheery face and have it be believable. And you have to, it's a skill that's needed for a wife and a mother. It is not meant to be unleashed on all of humanity for detrimental purposes and for false accusations and things like that. And for getting out of speeding tickets and all the things that it's used for now, it's not what it's for. But it is a skill that all women have. And I think men would benefit from knowing that if they don't already.
To her. The rest of the things that we would find traditionally feminine don't exist because that would be in direct misalignment with feminist.
Mm-hmm.
She says she prefers to date men with good paying jobs because I need stability. Why would you need stability if you're casual dating? She's not. The days of casual dating are done. She has children with Chad. She's got her body count in the triple digits, but now she's 37. And now it's time to settle down. She's a feminist that just wants to be a stay-at-home mom, which means I want to stay at home and take care of my kids because I'm tired of being a feminist when it comes to being strong and independent woman. But it doesn't mean I want to be a traditional woman. It means I want you to pay for everything, but I still want to be a feminist. I just don't want to work anymore because after 17 years from the age of 20, I'm tired of it. I'm also pretty hot and deserve a good man at this point. Well, spoiler alert, no. But she wants to score a good-looking guy before her looks fade because she's 37. And a man's looks will continue sometimes well into his 40s, 50s, and even if you happen to have the good genes of, say, a Brad Pitt or a Tom Cruise, even up to 60, maybe even into 65. So if she can snag a guy that's around her age, that has a good income, that respects her being a feminist, that has good money, that is hot because she feels she's hot, well, that's the perfect trifecta. And so,
Speaking of trifecta, $10 says she filed for divorce and she thought she was going to be, deserve so much better. And someone's going to come along that loves my kids just as much. Uh-oh.
so in reality, even though this is my thumbnail, really what she's doing is this. She's making a wish. She's making a wish for all the things she thinks she deserves. And now that she's been passed around like a blunt at a rock concert. Let me find my other dating profile. Now that she's been passed around like a blunt at a rock concert, she's got to raise her standards to find the forever man that'll treat her well.
Ew.
They don't exist because she falls squarely in the land of bangable and not wife, girlfriend, friend material.
Nope.
Welcome to your cats and your wine.
Yeah, exactly. Also, any person who is going to be comfortable just in a teeny tiny bikini like that. Now I get it. You're like, but every woman, no, I mean, she's just like putting it out there. And so it tells me that she's not shy about showing up. You know what I mean? It might mean that we've done some things. Maybe not at all, but I think we know. Thank you guys. If you're still here, this has been one of the longest videos I've ever made. And I thought long and hard about if I should. And there was just no way around it, honestly. So I appreciate y'all so much. And even if they didn't make it to the end, if they saw part of it, if they're going to share it with a girl that they know or somewhere out into the ether, we need to keep waking people up. And there are some women who can be woken up. There really are. And honestly, moving them more that way, what are you going to lose? What are they going to go war the other way? I mean, we're already at, danger. So yeah. I hope that y'all have fed your soul today. It's Saturday. And I hope that you're protecting your peace. So important. Need to probably go to nature. This is what men seem to find helpful to them when they are lost, when they are lonely. All of the things, nature seems to be very soothing. Going to creation seems to be very soothing. So I hope that you found something that is soothing to you, because it's a difficult world to live in, and men have known that for a very long time. They're not insulated from it the way that women are. So love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.